Welcome, learners, to the next chapter of our study of basics of economics. This is chapter number 5, which is dealing with the rural development of India. Now, when we say development is a very broad term, right? So, we are talking about how the economy, how the country is moving towards a better future. Now, when we speak of India, India is predominantly a rural country. So it's basically 68.8% of the population which lives in rural areas. This was according to the census which was conducted, population census which was conducted in the year 2011, where we can see this particular pie chart where the major population of India lives in villages. So, for the purpose of bringing the entire population of India to a better position, to a developed position, it is important to focus upon the development of this rural region. Otherwise, there is no point if you keep focusing on that 32%, which is the urban area that is already having all the facilities. But if the rural areas fails to move towards urbanization, move towards the betterment, then there is no point because the entire country overall will still remain backward. Now, what is this rural development? Now, when we talk about rural areas basically focus upon agriculture and industries that are relevant and related to agriculture. So, agro industries is what our focus also will be when we talk about rural development. So, when we are talking about rural development, which was born in the context of agriculture, it will have four areas to focus upon. One is basic agriculture, which means how you can develop this particular agricultural part with the help of mechanization, so using the modern equipments, then having high yielding seed varieties so that you have a better crop pattern in that particular season, so you have maybe a better yield of that particular farm. So what is yield meaning? High yield means what? Basically, if in 1 acre of land you are able to get maybe 50 quintals of a particular crop, then if you are able to get more than 50, let's say 70 quintals of a particular crop in 1 acre, then it will be called as high yield, better yield. Which means we are talking about the crops that are produced against the area of cultivation. So the area of cultivation is the same, but you are having a better crop yield, crop cultivation, crop you can say production which has happened in that particular time frame. Then you can say those are high yielding seeds. After this, we will also be talking about credit and transport, right? Because agriculture needs to have the credit and the transportation. Basically, you need loans to be given to this particular sector. You also need the focus on development of transportation facilities so that the crops are transported better off, like to the urban areas quickly and without getting spoilt. Then you will also focus upon the marketing. So if you are having certain type of crops in a particular area, then you need to see to it that these are marketed properly and taken to the respective locations where the sale can happen. So that is the first part, A part, that is agriculture. The second part that we are now connecting to in case of agriculture and rural development is connected to the village industries. So basically, in case of village industries also, the thing happens is that basically in case of village industries also, we see that agriculture and that industry gets mostly connected. So if you are making a certain product in the form of raw material, that means you are having some crop, and this particular product is now converted into a finished product and then it is delivered and sold in the market. That can be considered like an industry. So for example, you are having a crop of tomatoes, and this tomato is now converted by a small scale industry into tomato sauce, and this tomato sauce is now sold out into the market as a finished product. So what is happening? This is mainly an example where we can see that the villages can use the processing of the raw material, and this industrialization of whatever the raw material in the form of agro product has been got is used. There could be several other examples, like you find silk. Silk is produced, and with the silk, you are making silk clothing. So these are types of village industries, even like if you're talking of pickles, jams, jellies, etc. So basically, what we mean to say here is that the rural development can happen if you promote such village industries, because people over there will start getting employment, people will start getting making profits, they can be encouraged to have the crops according to the industries. So here too we need what, basically modernization, then technical advancement, education about that particular industry, and also we need to market the product. So marketing strategies have to be framed accordingly. The third part that we can see over here is connected to education. So if we want the village to progress naturally in lines with the industrialization, in lines with the agriculture, we also need to educate the people. So what would be the basic areas that people would be educated on? It would be basic trainings and technical enhancement. Then you will also need to guide them on skill development, so that the skills are enhanced for the purpose of and the performance of the job on that industry. Also, connected to agriculture, any kind of courses, what kind of crops to use, what manure to use, what pesticides to use, all these things have to be catered to, right? So we need technical education, skill based education, and also agriculture based education. And finally, the part D, that is connected to services of that village. Now, in case of services, what do we need for the village development? It is healthcare. So, but obvious that people should not be traveling very far off for the basic, at least the basic healthcare. And then we need to have family welfare programs also. We need to educate people on family welfare programs. Then we need to have banking and communication. So banking is important because the banks are going to be the ones who would be taking care of all the transactions that will happen in these industries and agriculture. If government wants to give any subsidies, wants to pass on some benefits, then having a bank account by the farmer, by the industrialist over there, is very important, because if that industry, that agricultural person, that is the farmer, doesn't have the bank account, the subsidies may be leaked out in between, then people may not get the benefits directly in their account. So banking system to be very good is an essential part of rural development. And finally, communication is a very key area, very much key area of rural development. These days internet facilities are also being developed in India. So rural India is also has started getting internet facility, and on a very good it's like a stable connection and all that. So it's very important for the purpose of development of those areas, because without communication you cannot have education, you cannot have healthcare, you cannot have even industries coming there. So basic communication, basic infrastructure also needs to be developed. Now, there was a definition which was given by the World Bank in connection to rural development. What is this rural development basically? They say that it is a strategy designed to improve the economic and social life. So, two parts, economic also and the social life also, of a specific group of people. And what is the specific group of people? That is the rural poor. So, we are focusing upon the rural poor and their development. So in terms of rural development, when can we say that it is rural development? When the rural poor get uplifted. Rural development, it is involving extending the benefits of development to the poorest among those who seek livelihood in the rural areas, right? So those poor people over there who want livelihood, who want to work, who need employment, are given so. And the group includes small scale farmers, tenants, and the landless. So there could be people who are doing farming, but it's a very small farm. There could be people who are not the owners of their homes and farms, they are tenants. And there could be also landless farmers. That means there could be also labor category who is staying there, working on others' farms and earning a livelihood. So all this category of people who are living in the rural area should be catered to, and when they get the benefits, they get the upliftment that is needed, we can say that there is rural development happening.